Good evening, this is Corporal, no more Maestro Cortella, with a Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite modcast on Calderis Refinery, 1 versus 1 between Dark Riku over here as the Space Marine Apothecary, and on the other side we have Toilailee as the Mekboy, this little orc with a screw in his mouth who does a lot of shenanigans, repairs, heals, teleports, makes people tough, throws mines, does a ton of stuff. On the other side of things, that Apothecary, he heals, and he mostly heals. Anyway, Mekboy using his teleport to teleport straight from his natural victory point all the way to the contested victory point. Usually takes a long time to get there, but one of the things I've been seeing in a lot of these Mekboy replays is Mekboy players using his early mobility with the teleport. Not his early mobility, but his mobility in general to move forward in the beginning, early on, aggressively, to get him to places where pretty much no one else can get in that amount of time. Mekboy comes in here, starts shooting the scout models. That's a good use of your Mekboy, I think, since the Mekboy does not do a lot of range damage, but he will still certainly beat scouts because they don't do much range damage either, and he has much more health. But he does get forced off there because attacks come in to support, as does the Apothecary. Toilailee is taking back that contested victory point, or he was, but now he's getting chased down by this Mekboy. Mekboy definitely teleporting around a lot, not really letting anyone get too close to him. But I think at this point he's out of energy for a teleport. And although the Apothecary is not that strong of a commander, not a great fighter, he will definitely beat the Mekboy in melee.
Our fortifications are under assault.
Toilailee has gone for the most standard orc build, his Slugger Boy into 2 shooter squads, and the shooter squads are now bashing this natural power node generator thing from Dark Riku, which will definitely go down under the fire from both these shooter boys. These shooter boys decide to get even closer to shoot at it, probably so he can follow up with a decap. Meanwhile, though, Dark Riku is getting a 3-cap. And these tactical marines actually forcing off these slugger boys in melee thanks to the support they're getting from the scouts, and they do get a heal from the Apothecary. So at this point, I think what Dark Riku should focus on, since he's getting his natural power point decapped, he should focus on counter bashing. Should even have the shotgun scouts over there to help with the bash. Well, maybe not really, obviously. Flamer attacks can definitely bash generators well enough on their own. But these shooter boys coming back up to help protect or help defend, help whatever. Riku's natural power did get decapped, although not captured by Toilailee. Riku similarly burns down Toilailee's entire farm. So a more wasted requisition from Toilailee, because he lost 2 generators and a node, but Toilailee at least still has the point. Riku really pushing up front, but it looks like Toilailee still has a little bit of field presence out here with his shooter boys capturing the contested victory point. But now attacks are coming in, and they will probably beat those shooter boys, especially if they get in cover, or even if they just rush in and force melee. We actually have Storm Boys from Toilailee. I personally think Storm Boys are a very good unit. Orc players will often complain about them and call them bleed boys. And it is true. You can certainly bleed a lot from Storm Boys. They are kind of like glass cannons. Not too much health per model, but they do a lot of damage, so they definitely are cannons. They do basically Banshee damage, which is a lot. They have poor speed, though, and they're also very bad at pursuing, because they have a passive leap, which leaps them forward but doesn't do any damage, so they're very bad at killing units on retreat. But still, once they're just in a fight, they're generally going to win against most units just because they do a lot of damage, especially against tactical marines. Scouts do force off those Storm Boys, but the Storm Boys did kind of what I think he wanted to do, which was he actually stopped Riku from recapping his natural power node. And right now, Riku has had 10 power income for basically most of the game because he lost his power node and it hasn't been captured since. So that 10 power income he's getting is actually the base power income you have just from having your stronghold. We have a lot of fighting right in front of this power node. Storm Boys, I mean, those attacks got healed, but the Storm Boys are just too powerful in melee, and there's not much that Dark Riku has to stand up to the attacks. The only thing he really has is just the fact that he's going to heal with the Apothecary and keep his units in there a little bit longer. Dark Riku, as it is, he has actually 2 attack squads and 2 scout squads. He hasn't spent any power on units, only on upgrades. He's got the flamer and the shotgun, but basically he hasn't had a power node for most of the game, so he can't really afford to make many power expenditures. As it is, he's got a ton of requisition, but nowhere to use it on generators. He doesn't even have the power node up here or over here. And Toilailee is all the way right up. The front line for Toilailee is right in front of Riku's base. So Riku does have most of his forces fighting down here, and 2 attacks is certainly pretty formidable. Storm Boys should get blasted by the shotgun. Unfortunately, they don't actually get knocked back, but the Storm Boys, wow, they got so close to dying, but then they got healed by the Mekboy, who has the battery pack, allows them to heal. It does work very well with Storm Boys. Riku is trying to get a power income started over here. He had his 2 attacks and his shotgun scout and his Apothecary fighting the main orc force, while he has this other scout squad, the second scout squad, used for backcapping, kind of running away from the main fight. Unfortunately, it's not going to be able to do much over here. Vulture Scouts, it's not even worth it to attempt to generator bash. They just don't do enough damage. He would be better off doing anything other than shooting at the generators with these Vulture Scouts, whether it's decapturing the natural victory point of Toilailee or the natural requisition point. Riku is at least back on the field. He does have a node up here, and he does have his natural power point, which he can afford to note. He should do it as soon as he can. Scouts do get forced off, though. Do not want to be in melee with the Slugger Boys. And Riku at least has the victory points back. 2 of them. And a node right here. Toilailee does have this node, this contested power, noded up. But it will probably go down soon because the Flamer Attack is right here. Flamer Attack, great unit, great upgrade in my opinion. You don't really want to keep it, but it's a great temporary upgrade. We can see these green hexagons around these units. That's the passive healing aura of the Apothecary. It just increases the regeneration. And right now, these Space Marines kind of backed up into a corner. I don't know if that's the best place for them to be with these orcs. And I don't know if these attacks are not exactly in cover. They're in cover, but they're not protected because the cover is the wrong way. Storm Boys jumping in, doing a lot of damage to these attacks. Attacks do get healed. The Storm Boys need to get healed from the Mekboy, though. And finally, we actually have an Assault Space Marine squad from Dark Riku. If anything, I thought he would want to save his power so that he could just go to Tier 2. He's just had so much trouble getting power, and now his power farm is going to go down again because he was just forced off. Riku just can't keep power in power income going in this game. Even his node over here was taken down by the Slugger Boys. He does have this scout squad still running around, and he still has a lot of points on the map. Toilailee, in fact, choosing not even to capture this middle victory point, so we can just really press the advantage here with the power. And we actually have over here, you can barely see it, but this is an orc turret from the Mekboy. Assault Space Marines jump in. Apothecary running in, runs right into that turret, gets suppressed. I think Riku probably didn't even see the turret because it's kind of hidden. And the Apothecary just straight up goes down. Assault Space Marines in a lot of trouble too because they cannot really just fight those Storm Boys. Assault Space Marines, they do not do a lot of damage. They are very durable, but they do not do a lot of damage. Storm Boys definitely do a ton of damage. And Scouts over here, this backcapping scout squad that has been away from the main force, kind of keeping Riku in the game. But Riku lost all of his power again. And Riku is even saying he didn't see the turret. You also have a WA banner going up. Mekboy hitting it. Alright. And now we should have Riku coming back out in full force. Revives his Apothecary. I don't know if he used red or if he used Requisition. Could probably afford to do either. Now the only thing is, Toilailee has really pressed the advantage so that Riku has hasn't had a power income. Riku is still not in tier 2. Toilailee is already there, but so far Toilailee, it seems like, only now is bothering to recapture this middle victory point, and Riku actually has the lead in terms of victory points because Toilailee hasn't bothered to capture this middle one. Still a long tier 1 from Riku, and he actually has a lot of resources, but he needs to go to tier... Still hasn't gone to tier 2 because he's only got plus 10 power income, barely any... He'll barely have any power to buy anything in tier 2. I think we had a Bomber Boy go off. Yes, a Bomber Boy went off, did some knockback. Bomber Boy is an upgrade on the Storm Boys, sacrifices one of the Storm Boy members basically like a grenade. I think it's actually a really good upgrade. Does cost red, does bleed you, but it disrupts. It disrupts and does damage. Assault Space Marines nearly dead. Just barely retreats out of there with their lives. Probably would not have made it out of there if they only ran out of there. Riku does manage to win that fight. And the Apothecary could heal himself. Apothecary, of course, has no upgrades. The Apothecary is a commander who certainly benefits from upgrades, but since the Apothecary is more about supporting his units rather than fighting himself, he's also a commander. You can definitely keep him vanilla. He's actually one of the commanders who can definitely stay vanilla. But alright, this is a winning fight for the Tax and the Apothecary. Scouts, meanwhile, do get a decap, and right now it's actually a 2-to-1 for Riku, who's only just now going to tier 2, but can't really afford anything. He's got 800 requisition and no power. He can either get Scouts and Tax, which are what he could get in tier 1 anyway, or he could get a Plasma Devastator. Toilailee says VPs still look funny, and that's because he's not capturing. He's got his Shooter Boy squad idling right here. Needs to capture. He's running away from the victory point. And still these 2 for Riku. Turret did go down. Probably this Flame Attack squad just ran up behind it when Riku had the advantage and was in the middle. We do have a Plasma Cannon Devastator coming in for Riku indeed. I like Plasma Cannon Devastator. I think it's also a really good choice precisely when you're in this situation where you don't really have power because you've been power bashed. And the Plasma Cannon Devastator is just what you can buy, basically. And it can make a big difference. Just that one Plasma Cannon shot can force off a unit, take out like 2 or 3 models. I love the Devastator, Plasma Cannon Devastator. Storm Boys jump in there right away. Now they do have their knob, but they are taking a lot of damage, but they do get healed. They're still taking a lot of damage, though, but they will deal out more damage than they will take, as long as they're in melee. Plasma Cannon Devastator does knock over these Storm Boys, even in retreat.
We have 300 points remaining.
Victory points. Toilailee now does have 2 victory points again. Still has a ridiculous amount of requisition and almost no power. What is he going to do? He could get another Plasma Cannon Devastator. He could get another Tack. Could even get another Scout Squad. And maybe could put shotguns on that Scout Squad. He's lucky that Toilailee does not get a vehicle. Toilailee did not really get anything in Tier 2 except for knobs on his units. We have a slugger knob. We also have a shooter knob and a shooter knob. We just got knobs. Now Toilailee is getting this looted tank. And Riku does not actually have any real AV. His only thing that's remotely AV is the Plasma Cannon Devastator. A scout squad does go down. And Riku actually chose to spend his power on an Assault Marine Sergeant. I actually feel that's not a good choice. Assault Marine Sergeant is kind of an optional upgrade, especially in this situation. I think he really should have saved his power for something that would have made a little bit more of a difference. I mean, the Merciless Strike is great for disruption, but still not a great choice, in my opinion. That being said, Riku is still in the lead in victory points. 279. And he's got his big Space Marine blob right here. Knobs. Storm Boys jump right in. Do have a big looted tank shot, but we have Angels of Death, which is going to win Riku this engagement pretty much. Storm Boy is actually in trouble right now, losing too much. Storm Boys might even go down. Only the Storm by Knob chasing after. The Storm by Knob can't really stay in there. He should probably go before he gets wiped. Oh, we have a Call the Boys. Alright. That's why he was keeping the Storm Boy in play. Call the Boys. Even with the Call the Boys, he was even able to get a Bomber Boy off on the Plasma Cannon Devastator. And he even wipes the Apothecary. Riku does have enough to just instantly revive the Apothecary, though, using Lariman's Blessing.
Understood.
Looted Tank is actually at only about 25% health, actually taking Devastator shots. I love when you click on the Looted Tank, it says, ah, they left snacks under the seat. Missile Launcher. Now that's a good upgrade for Riku. The only thing is I think you should actually put it on his other attack squad. He could actually keep this one as a flamer and do area of effect damage. I know I said how you don't want to keep that, but I mean right now, in the situation Riku's in where he's not going to get that many upgrades, he should actually keep that flamer. Should have kept it and then put the other one, put the Missile Launcher on this squad. Wow, and this Devastator already was at half health, and now these Storm Boys are actually in trouble, possibly going to get wiped. Nope, they don't, because again we have a heal from the Mekboy, pretending to be like the Apothecary. We also even have Melt-A-Bombs from the Assault Space Marines. That's certainly a good choice. It is 30 power, which is quite a power expenditure, but it's worth it for taking out the vehicle. Because right now, Riku does have a large Space Marine blob, and the main thing that he didn't have for a while was AV. Now he certainly has AV. This looted tank does go down, slowly crashes into this power generator over here. This Shooter Boy squad cannot stay, and this is actually looking really good for Riku, because he's about to get this victory point back when he already has a big victory point lead. Oh, man. And that Plasma Cannon Devastator along with a regular Devastator. Riku is probably going to win this engagement. Slugger Boys, unfortunately, right now they do not have a knob, so they will definitely not win against these Assault Space Marines, especially if their health is already low. Another Scout Squad, Vulture Scout Squad over here, replacement. And it's actually his only Scout Squad right now. Riku even lost his Shotgun Scout Squad. But look at the victory points. It's almost all the way down. And Toilailee does not even get that decap off. His Mekboy dies under the fire of the Devastator. And Riku's actually going to win this game. So kind of a funny game here. Toilailee himself even says, what a troll game. He had such a massive hold on Riku's power and had Riku pushed back all the way into his base. but he didn't take care to even capture this middle victory point to keep the victory points in his favor, and Riku actually ended up winning the game. Absolutely bizarre. Hope you enjoyed it.